Okay, I'm back. It's been an hour. It's 12:40. And we're going to take a look at our dough. And I'm going to move you guys down so we can see this. You're not going to see me, but you are going to hear me. The dough is kind of risen. I'd like to get it a little bit fuller, but this part is okay if it doesn't rise or it doesn't quite double in size. So what we're going to do is we're going to get things ready for our next part of this video. And I'm just reading over the recipe. Knead well floured board and add remaining flour. Okay. This is where you're going to add the remaining flour. And I'm going to actually take my rings off. If I can get my ring off. Okay. It says to do this on a breadboard, and we could do that, but I'm just going to use our countertop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread out the remaining flour of our 8 cups. And basically you're going to do the exact same thing that you did for the donuts when it comes to pulling this out. And you're going to notice that your dough is very, very tacky. I'm just going to get the remaining dough out. And you can go ahead and put your glass bowl in the sink and put soap in and hot water to do that. So now what we're going to do is we're just basically going to knead in the remaining flour so that the Houska is not so tacky. And when you knead, what you're basically doing is you're using the palm of your hand and you're just pressing outward. And there is no right or wrong way to knead a bread. You just want to kind of do this until it's not tacky and all of this flour has been absorbed. And you want to do this until your dough doesn't feel sticky. And it still is a little bit tacky. And if it's tacky and it's sticking to your hand, add a little bit more flour. But you don't want to add so much flour that it becomes dry. So you're going to do this quite a few times with the Houska, and it still is got a tacky feeling, but it doesn't have an overlay. It's not sticking to my hands. If it starts sticking to your hands, and it's getting a little bit more tacky now, so I'm just going to add a little bit more of the flour. And I'm just going to work that in. And you're going to do this for maybe a couple of minutes. You just want to make sure that the dough is not sticking to anything. If it starts to stick to your hands or it starts to stick to your countertop, add more flour. And you're just going to work it in. And this is why I said you want to make sure your hands are nice and clean and dry. And you want to make sure that your your work surface is also nice and dry. Okay, and this is getting a little bit sticky. So we're just going to add the remaining flour. Now you might need an additional, like I said, you might need an additional cup of flour. But this is doing pretty good. Yeah, this is doing good. So after you've done that, what you're going to do is you're going to do the next phase. And you're going to plait it. Now, when I say plait, that is, or plate, P-L-A-I-T. I did not know what that meaning was. Basically, that's braiding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my husband to come up for a second and grease a cookie sheet for me while I plait this. And again, make sure to keep your flour handy because you might need it. So basically the plaiting is you're going to cut this into 2 large pieces and 1 small piece. So what I do is with a serrated knife is just cut 1 small piece and put that off to the side. You don't need that right away. With the other one, what you're going to do is you're going to cut the 2 in half and make 2 large pieces. So basically now you have 3 divided sections. You have 1 section here, the small section, another section. Now each of these large sections you're going to cut into thirds. So you're going to do 1, 2, and 3, and ideally you want to keep them about the same. You're going to want to keep them about the same size. Now, what you're going to do is I'm going to put that one off to the side. What we're going to do is we're going to work with one of the 3 sections and we're going to roll it with our hands. We're not going to knead it. What we're going to do is we're just going to start making our braids. And you want these pretty long because this will become the bottom of the Houska. And again, you want to make sure that these are about the same size and make sure that they'll fit on your cutting board. And you're going to do that with each section. So, and I'm going to move you guys so you guys can see that. And then with the last section, do the exact same thing. Now, once you have the greased board, and this is why my husband behind me is greasing the board, is I'll show you what we're going to do next. And like I said, you want to kind of make sure that these are about the same size and the same thickness. Sometimes it doesn't matter. But what you're going to do when I have my greased sheet is I will show you what we're going to do next. Oh, we're using that one. Okay. Okay. So on our greased sheet, what we're going to do is we're going to take our, and you want to make sure that they don't fall apart. Sometimes you have to re-roll them. So try to get them on your board to where they're not falling apart. And hopefully this one doesn't. This one may, I'm going to try to put it back together, and that one did. So you got the 3 on, and I'm going to lift you guys up so you guys can see this. And actually, since you're at the 10-minute mark, I'm going to stop this video and I'll pick it right back up. Okay, we're back. So now we're going to plait these. You can see our 3 sections. And basically what that does is we're just going to braid it. I'm going to kind of show you, and hopefully you guys can see that braid. That's going to be the bottom of your Houska. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that out of the way, and I'm going to do the same exact thing with the other large section. I'm going to cut it into equal parts again. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to roll this out. Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want to roll it too thin so that won't fit. So kind of keep them about the same size. And if you lose a raisin or an almond sliver like this, you can always just tuck them back into your braid. What we're going to do, and make sure that one end is not too thick and one end and the other end too thin. You want them about the same exact size. And if you have problems rolling it out, if it doesn't roll out nice like this, that means that you have too much flour in your thing. And what you can do is add a teaspoon of milk. And you're going to have to knead again until the dough is not too tacky, but is easy to manipulate. Okay, so we got our three sections. I'm gonna bring our cutting board here. And what this time we're gonna do, and I'm gonna lower you guys so you guys can see this, is we're going to actually braid it down here. You want to kind of, let's go over, wait, over. Okay, this one has got to be, sometimes my braiding is not looking all that great. So when you get it braided, you're going to quickly lift it, and what you're going to do is you're going to stretch it and put it underneath, tuck it underneath, and hopefully you guys will see this. So, now I have two sections. The section that we did first is underneath. This is the third section. Now, with the small section, what you're going to do is you're going to divide that in half. And you're going to also roll this out. And you want to get this as long as possible, and it's going to be thin, and that's okay because this is going to be the very, very top of the bread. So try to do, you don't want to go too thin with it though. You want to have enough thickness that you can braid it without it falling apart. And what you're going to do is you're just going to twist it almost as a rope like that, and hopefully you see that. And this is going to be stretched and kind of put on top like that. And I'm going to show you guys what that's going to look like. That's what your Houska should look like. Now, what you're going to do is take a clean towel and just place it on top and put your cookie sheet now in front of your oven, and you're going to let it raise and rest for 1 more hour until it doubles in size. So at the half an hour mark, move your pan, rotate your pan so that this side faces the back and the back side now faces the front. So it's 12:56. At 1:56 we'll come back and then I'll show you what to do to get it ready for the oven.